After you log in and have updated your profile, click the Get Started card to start a new application. Then, click the Open button to open the 2025-26 application form. We'll walk through the application together, starting with the program name. Enter a short but descriptive name for your program. Do not put your agency name here, just the program name. I'm going to call it the best program ever, and I'm going to check all the cities I'm applying to below. This program doesn't autosave, so it's a good idea to hit the Save Draft link frequently. I also like to download all the questions from the ShareOneApp application process webpage and put all my responses into a Word document and then paste them in later. This way, if I forget to save draft and the electricity goes out, I still have my answers saved. It's also helpful if you have more than one person working on the same application. Since only one person can be logged in at a time, this way, maybe the program manager can be working on the narrative, while the finance person can be working on the budget. Once your application's finished, you can submit it by clicking the Mark Complete button. The system is set up so that even though you've marked complete, you'll still be able to make changes up until the deadline, which is 4 p.m. on April 8th. If you do make edits, just be sure to resubmit it, or it'll still be in draft form and won't be considered for funding. You can preview or print the information at any time by clicking the little blue triangle. This is a good way to view and print the application before submitting it. You can also view the uploaded files in the preview form mode. Check all the cities that you'll be applying to for funding. For each city that you check, you'll be asked how much they awarded your program in 2023 and how much you're requesting for 2025. If they didn't fund you in 2023, just put 0. The total requests to all cities will auto-calculate. Damn. Next, you'll enter the total program budget from 2023 and what the projected budget will be for 2025. Be sure these numbers match what's on the program and budget upload, which we'll get to later. If there's more than a 10% increase from 2023 to 2025, check one or more reasons here. If you click Other, a text box will open for you to add information. Under Program Information, first describe your program in one brief phrase or sentence like food bank, emergency rental assistance, childcare vouchers, or after-school program. Cities use this brief description to share with councils, staff, and/or commissions. Next is the program contact. This is the person cities will be contacting for information about the application and the program. Under Program Description, you're going to talk about your program. What is the specific, emerging, or unique issue facing the community you serve? Describe your program. Include details on the services provided, who will deliver them, and how they'll be delivered. If you make your services more affordable to certain individuals, talk about that. And let us know how you prioritize services. Remember, more words aren't necessarily better. We want to get a clear picture of your program, but don't need every single last detail. Next, you'll talk about the people that'll be served by your program. Are they homeless youth? Are they low-income families needing mental health services? Maybe they're immigrants or members of a specific cultural community who live in rural South King County, for example. And how do they hear about your program? What outreach do you do? Is it only in English? Do you work with partner organizations? Do you advertise on the side of buses or in ethnic media? This next section talks about program impact. What difference does your program make in the lives of people you serve. First, we want to know what your organization's been doing to address disparities based on race, gender, income, or other factors. What changes have you seen as a result of these efforts? If you haven't seen significant changes yet, we want to know what you're going to do differently so that 2 years from now, you'll be able to say how you've been successful in addressing these disparities. Then, we want to know about your outcomes. There's another training video and examples of outcomes at shareoneapp.org. You'll want to clearly define what the desired result of your program is, the percentage of people you expect to achieve this result, and tell us how you're going to measure it. If you have a second outcome that you want to report on, you would add it here. So for example, if you're an employment program, maybe your first outcome might be the percentage of people who get a living wage job within 6 months of enrollment. So the desired result might be obtain employment within 6 months of enrollment. The percentage might be 75%. And how you're going to collect the data is by reviewing case notes and keeping a record of all those successes. And you might also want to report on how many stay employed after 3 months. So your second outcome could be maintain employment for a minimum of 3 months. We expect that 90% of these people would be successful. And we'll collect the data by telephone interviews 3 months after placement. The next section is around accessibility. We want to know what percentage of your staff identifies as Black, Indigenous, and/or people of color. What mechanisms are in place to make your services affordable to all populations? If all your program facilities are accessible to people with disabilities, what cities or neighborhoods you provide services in, including virtual. How accessible is your program by public transportation? Do you have to pay for parking? Maybe you provide after-school transportation to your site, or your staff provide in-home services. Are you open in the evenings, on weekends? How do you accommodate clients' varied schedules? And how accessible are your services in terms of language? Do you have bilingual, bicultural staff? What languages do they speak? Do you offer translation and interpretation services? What happens when someone with limited English calls or walks into your front desk? If there are any options that aren't listed, click Other, and a text box will open for you to explain. Several cities may be using this application to screen for potential community development block grants. If you're applying to any of these cities, this additional question will come up. Are you willing to accept federal funds? And then there's a section where you can provide any additional information you think might be helpful to reviewers in making a funding decision. This is totally optional, but we wanted to allow you to highlight anything that wasn't covered in the previous questions. Finally, you'll have to complete and upload the program and budget upload spreadsheet. And if you're applying to the City of Burien, there's an additional question you'll need to answer and upload. If you have any questions, please contact your city staff. There's a list with contact information on the help page at shareoneapp.org.